Hello, this is Adele, and today we will be exploring squats and binds. So, sounds tricky, doesn't it? Don't worry about it. Okay, just do what you can and enjoy the process. So, if you set up in your mind that it's tricky and difficult, sometimes it makes the work more tedious. So, how about giving it a little spin? Just just reminding yourself to breathe throughout the session and just enjoy the process there and see what unfolds naturally from there. So for squats, what you think of is strong thigh muscles, enough flexibility in the ankles and the calf muscles. So if you should need, okay, have two blocks handy so you can use them for your squats. And then for binds, okay, you think about open chest area, open shoulders area. So if you need, okay, a strap to assist will also be handy. So these are the two things that you might want to consider having in your practice. So grab them now, okay? For the rest of us who are ready, just comfortable seat. Just take a few moments to find yourself onto your mat and to start with a little mindfulness as you set your intention for the practice today. So it could be about just finding more ease and comfort in poses that we are familiar with while playing on the edge with some new postures. Or it can be just, taking time to really do a little bit of movement practice for yourself. So whichever the intention is totally valid. Just let it stay close to heart throughout the session as we explore the binds and the squats. Hands towards your heart center. Blink open your eyes. Let us begin. Namaste. Interlace your fingers, palms push forward and overhead. Get a good lift of your ribs away from the pelvis. Then just gently side bend over to your right. Come back to center and over to your left. Back to center, let the right hand find the ground with elbow bend, stretching a little bit deeper into the left side. Come back center, left hand find the ground, right arm reaching over, side bending. Come back center, both arms to the sky. Twist your torso to your right side, and then place one hand behind you, one hand to the outer knee. Then you're just going to stay here and take a few breaths, realigning your spine tall and revolving at the chest. Both arms overhead and come back center. Twist your torso over to your left. One hand behind you, one hand to the outer knee. Same thing, find your sit, find your breath, and revolve the chest. Slowly, arms overhead, come back to center. Release your hands down to the side. Come onto hands and knees. Tuck your toes under, point your tail, sink your belly and stretch the chest. Remove the spine. Tuck your tail, hunch your back, chin towards the chest, cat. Point tail, sink belly, stretch chest out forward in cow pose. Tuck tail, hunch back, chin towards the chest, cat pose. Add in a breath, inhale, cow pose. And exhale, cat pose. Look slightly forward, point back the toes, sit back, extend the child's pose. Hop onto your finger pads. We're going to walk our hands to the right side in a side stretch. Buttocks heavy, both arms straight. Breathe. Walk both hands to the center before it comes to the second side. So walk with your fingers and then you let your buttocks, your right butt sit towards the heels. Side stretch. Slowly walk back the hands towards the front. Press the palms, spread your fingers and come back onto all fours. Now tuck the toes under. push down your palms about shoulder width. And then you're going to sit your buttocks halfway back. Feel that the palms are stable, the shoulders are stable. You lift your knees slightly and push your thighs and butt back into downward facing dog. Open your feet wide to the width of the mat and press your thighs and buttocks back. You can bend one knee at a time, simulating like a wide feet walk. Just a little one, raising the heels up and down, letting the hips sashayk. Then from there, come on tiptoes, both knees to ground, toes point back, sit back, child's pose. Slide your hands to your knees, come into hero pose, sitting on your heels. Take your arms, and take your right arm underneath your left arm, give yourself a hug. Use your fingertips to pull down the shoulders away from the ears. Slide your hands to opposite elbow, bring the forearm to the forehead or above it. And slightly lift the ribs as you press down the shins. Take your arms out to the side and then from there change left arm under, right arm on top. Use your fingers to encourage your shoulders to lower. Slide your hands onto opposite elbow and then bring the forearm to the forehead or above it. Then you just want to make sure you're looking at the horizon. Your breath feels fluid. Release the arms out to shoulder height, and then from there, just imagine yourself turning doorknobs. Just rotate at the arm area from the tops of the shoulders. Good. Then let the right arm stay. Then you take the right arm, turn the palm back from the whole arm, bend the elbow and slide the hand to the back. You try to bring the back of the hand up into the space between the shoulder blades. Left hand, find your right elbow and then sit tall. If this sit is not comfortable for you after a while, feel free to come into a high kneeling position. You take the left arm up and forward. Then we bend the elbow and drop the hands or fingers into each other. So a strap is handy here, or you can catch your hair or your top. Good. Take a little while, you point your left elbow up and point your right elbow down. A little lopsided in this cow face position. Let go of the top arm and the bottom arm. Give it a break. Left arm outstretched in line with the shoulders. Feel like you're rotating from the tops of the shoulders by turning the palm backwards. Bend the elbow, slide the hand up between the shoulder blades. Use your right hand to assist. Bring the upper arms closer to your side ribs. Breathe. Right arm forward and up. Bend at the elbow, cow face arms. Grip the fingers with the bottom palm facing out and the top palm facing in. You might not grip the fingers, you might be grabbing your hair like what I'm doing. So the left elbow point down, the right elbow points up. Release the top arm and release the bottom arm and give your shoulders a nice good shrug. And roll in the opposite direction. And slowly release, just let it up and down a few times. Then pop onto your fingers, come into a squat. So pop your fingers in front of your knees and just spread your toes for a little bit. Feel like your heels slightly open out to the side. Balance here with your hands on the ground or slide your hands to your knees and challenge your balance. So you can stay here, letting the knee point straight forward as your torso try to align upright. Take a little while, a few breaths, just letting your toes do their work. So you just need some breath to help us get going. Then slide your hands down to the ground in front. And then from there, you're pushing off the ground or pushing on two blocks. You drop the heels as you slowly straighten the legs and walk your hands towards your feet into a forward fold over your legs. Let your knees be bent to start with. Your feet about 2 feet width apart, like a mountain pose. Stretch your back as your heels ground down. Slowly slide your hands onto your hips and all the way come up to standing. Then from here, you want to just take your feet about hip width comfortable distance, okay? And drive the heels out parallel to one another so the edges of the feet are parallel. Relax the shoulders. Lean weight into your right foot, your left leg come out forward. Rotate out your ankles. Go in the counter direction. And point flex a few times. Good, and then just wriggle out your toes. Take a moment, bend this knee. You can use a supporting wall if you need to. Use your hands to hold at the back of your knees and just lift the knees up to where you can balance. Then we just take it for a few breaths, just finding your right leg standing strong. Good. Lower the foot down and then change. Shift weight to the left foot and rotate out your right ankles. Go in the counter direction. Point flex your feet. Soften the knees as you bend them and then slide your hands at the back of your knees or put a towel strap over the back of the knees and just stand tall. Let the left leg get a little bit conditioning to balance. Good, and then slowly let the foot find the ground again as you walk up to the front of the mat. So mountain, arms at the side of the body, slide your hands to heart center. So just take a moment, shoulders relax, facing forward. Inhale, take your arms up to the sky. You can choose to look forward or look up. Slide your hands to your heart center as you forward down from the hip. Fingers next to your toes, take the right foot step back. Hands beside the foot, stretch your spine long as your front leg lunges, the back leg straighten. Drop the back knee down, press both palms down, left knee slide back. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, laterally spread out your back in cat pose. Inhale, cow. Sit the buttocks towards the heels, extend the child's pose. Once your fingers are nicely spread, shift back onto all fours, squeeze both legs straight into plank pose. Straight arms, spread toes, firm legs. Drop the knees far away from the hands. Lean your torso forward more towards the fingers. Bend the elbows lower down slow towards the ground. As your feet lay straight against the ground, okay, you're lying prone. You roll the shoulders, come into baby cobra with your hands supporting by the side of your ribs, your chest lifting off and stretching forward. Lower down the chest, push off the ground on all fours, press back the thighs into downward facing dog. But this time a narrow fit one, your palms shoulder width, your feet hip width. You can slightly bend your knees and press your thigh bone backwards. Breathe. Raise the heels, raise the right leg a little bit so that you can bend the knee and step the right foot between the hands. Left leg straighten, stretch the chest out as you stand into your right heel and spread out your back toes. Press the ground, left foot step forward. Over bend knees to start with, forward fold. Both hands shift over to the right outer ankle. You drape over the right leg. Come back to center. Both hands travel to your left outer ankle. You drape over your left leg. Come back center. Let the body, upper body feels heavy against the legs. Forward fold. Maybe by now your thigh bone can push back. And you can use your own hands to push your calf muscles slightly forward. Stable your gait, and then from there, inhale both arms up as you come up to mountain. And exhale, take the arms down to the side. Inhale, tall mountain, lifted heart. Hands to heart, forward fold at the hip. Fingers next to your toes, left foot lunge. This time, back knee down, toes point. You can shift your buttock slightly back. Take your hands on your knee, your front knee, and come to Crescent Lunge as your left arm reach for the ceiling and your right arm reach for the ceiling. Take a little while just lifting up from the wrist as you gaze forward. Too much for you, slide the hands open a little wider. Then from there, you bend the elbows, take your hands to the ground, tuck your back toes under, press the palms and slide the right foot back into plank pose. Drop the knees a little bit away from the hands, lean the chest forward, and bend the elbows lower down to cobra. Stretch the belly and chest forward as your shoulders roll back. Maybe you feel the shoulder blades pull down the waist as you lift up a little higher. Lower down the belly and chest on the ground, tuck your toes, lift back up, downward facing dog with exhale. Give your heels a little lift, left leg give it a bigger lift so that you can bend your left knee to chest and left foot step between the hands. Back knee drop down to the ground, toes can point or tuck. Shift the butt back slightly, stable your body as you put your hands on your knees. Option, arms next to your cheek or your ears, lifting towards the ceiling, but you still feel the grounding of the left heel onto the earth. Bend your elbows, release your hands down to the ground, tuck your back toes, lift up, and step forward. And once again, you go into a forward fold each time, feeling a little bit more confident. As your knees track to the second, third toe, you see your legs go a little straighter, which is a two-part approach with the thighs going back and the calves going forward. Then from there, over bend knees or straight legs, hinge up from the hips, mountain to the sky. Exhale, arms come down to the side. Now just give you a good check, your feet about width apart. Let the knees track to the second, third toe. You slide your hands to the front hip bones so that you can guide your buttocks to sit back into an imaginary chair. Arms up. So starting our squat is a chair pose where we keep the spine neutral. Squeeze your legs straighten. So if it's too challenging, you slide your hands to your heart. Then from there, let's go one more round. So it's point forward, knees point forward, a chair pose. And squeeze the legs straighten. Two more times. Bend the knees, tracking it towards the second, third toe. And squeeze it straight. For this last round, you want to challenge, arm can go overhead again. Bend knees, a gentle chair. Then we pause here, imagine we squeeze the thighs but drive the heels out at the same time. Staying, just looking the distance forward, just for a few more breaths. And squeeze the legs straight, hands to heart, you forward fold at the hip. Fingers beside your toes, your right foot lunge back. Right hand to stay, left arm to the left side. Turn your chest to the left, twisting lunge. Slide your left hand down to the ground, same thing. You push the palms and slide your left foot back into a plank pose. Drop the right knee down below the hips, right toes tuck back, left foot lay flat. So you got the right palm, right knee, left foot in one line. Use the buttocks muscles to really open the hip towards the left side as you take the left arm to the sky or across the ear into a supported side plank. Feel the chest revolve upwards. Left hand down, left knee down, tuck toes under, dog pose. You like to add in a little bit more strengthening work? Okay, you can come with your heels up, come forward to plank pose. Otherwise, feel free to stay in dog pose. And press your thighs and hip back into dog pose. One more set for those who are feeling a little adventurous on the arms. Come into plank pose. Exhale, everyone meets back in downward facing dog. Give the heels a little raise. This time, go with the right leg up. Feel like you're using a right butt to lift up the entire thigh. Bend your top knee, heel to butt. With your arms straight and strong, you curl your right knee to the direction of the chest. Straighten the right leg back behind you. Curl it in towards the chest. One more time, lifting the right leg up. And take the right foot step between the hands. Okay, front knee bend, back leg straight, stretch the chest. Then you shift your buttocks foot slightly back, take the back foot one little step forward. You can use hands on blocks or no blocks and squeeze the front thigh straighten. Let the right foot open up to one big toe width onto the right side and squeeze the right thigh. Use an inhale to lengthen out the back. Use an exhale to stay. Then bending in your right knee, step your left foot forward. Toes tracking forward, knees tracking forward. Bend your knees with fingers on the ground or ankles. Come into a lower sit, but you are using your hands for support here. Just breathing. Then from here, you can slide your hands or keep them onto your ankles or keep them on the ground as you forward fold.
Each time exploring a little bit more extension of the knee straighten. And from there, lift the chest, hands on hips to hinge yourself all the way up to standing. Release the arms by the side. Inhale, mountain. Hands to heart or arms overhead. Bend your knees, sit imaginary chair. Squeeze your legs straight. Bend the knees into imaginary chair. One more time, squeeze the legs straight. Bend the knees. Squeeze the legs straight, hands to heart, forward fold at the hip. Fingers down, left foot lunge. Left hand to stay, right arm to the right side, turn your chest to the right side, twisting high lunge. Slide your hands down as you gaze down. And from there, you drop the left knee down, left toe stuck out to the left side, supported side plank as your right foot slide back. Use your butt muscles to open up the hip to the right side, right arm to the sky. Feel like your hip lifting away from the ground. Now reach the top arm across the ear, side stretching on the right side body. Take your palm down as you gaze down, both knees to the ground. Slide directly into plank or stay in downward facing dog. So option to stay in plank pose now for a little bit endurance in the core area. Or you can always go to downward facing dog or a knee down plank pose with the knees further away from the hands, but feel C shape at the waist area. Then from here, downward facing dog, exhale. Your heels slight lift, raise the left leg up with the strength of your back body. Bend the left knee, heel to butt, curl your left knee towards the chest in a crunch. Few more times like this, left leg go for a lift. Exhale, curling in. One more time, left leg, three-legged dog. And curl in and step the left foot between the hands. Front knee bend, stretch out the chest. Slide your back foot a little forward and squeeze both legs straight into a modified pyramid pose. Fingers light on the ground or hands on blocks. So the same thing, your left foot, feel that it's stable. So a way to stable is the left toes angle out slightly to one big toe width to the left side. The back heel may be down or up. Try to angle the back toes pointing forward. On fingers, on blocks, inhale, stretch the chest out long. And exhale. Bend the front knee. You can slide your hands onto the ankle or stay on the ground. And then the right foot step forward. Fingers support on the ground on the ankles. Bend your knees a little bit more generously. But using your hands for support to the ground. You can also take it more forward if you need more support. Just a few more breaths. Then you slide your hands onto your ankles if you need to, forward fold. You can also, like what I mentioned just now, use your hands to press the calf forward as your thighs press back into a forward fold. Then from there, hinge from the hips. Inhale all the way, come up to standing. Arms come down by the sides of the body. Now facing forward, imagine there's a block between the thighs or physically squeeze a block between the thighs. And then just take the arms out in line with your shoulders. Fingers out, slightly squeeze between the shoulder blades. Good. Okay, coordinate a little bit, palms up. Inhale, mountain. Twist your torso over to your right side as you lay your arm to shoulder height, twisting. Inhale, come back center. Exhale, twist leftwards. Inhale, come back center. Hug the imaginary block. Exhale, twist to your right side. One more time. Inhale, come back center. Exhale, twist left. Come back to center. Hands to heart. You can bring your feet closer together or use the same block that you're hugging in. So to stabilize the knees, okay, so you want to squeeze the thighs inwards and just bend your knees. Slide your hands to your frontal hip bone that we mentioned and just come to a sit into a visible chair. Then from there, hands to heart center. Okay, continuous dynamic movement, but don't have to be fast. Right elbow tap the left knee to a chair twist. Exhale, release. Left elbow to right knee. Come back center. You can use the exhale to go in. Exhale, twist. Come back center. Exhale, twist the chest facing to the side. Come back to center. One more set. Exhale, twist. Back to center. Last time. Exhale, twist. Come back to center. Lay your hands on your thighs and come up all the way to stand. Separate your feet about a foot apart or 1 or 2 feet squeeze apart. Shift weight to your right foot. Bend the left knee up as you did earlier on. Hand to catch the ankle, heel to butt. Stretch the front thigh muscles. Good. Breathe. Balance. You can slide your right hand on the hip. You can add on to this by pushing the left foot into the left hand, getting a little chest and a little bit more on the front left thigh. You can open the left knee out a little bit to the left side. And then squeeze the knees towards each other, heel to butt, let go. Shift with left foot, right knee up. Hand to catch on ankle, it's like a dancer position, heel to butt. And from here, either stay with support on your left side if you need to, or push the right foot into your hand. Feel a stretch at the front chest area, or you can slightly tip your right knee upwards a little bit. Then slowly squeeze the knee in towards each other. Pull the heel in and release your feet on the ground. Then just a few rounds, you look in on your toes, spread your toes, the feet, outer edges of feet parallel. Just lean weight and come into a tiptoe. And drop the heels down. Try to slow down the dropping of the heels. Raise on tippy toes. Drag the heels downwards. 2 more sets. Raise the heels. Drag the heels downwards. Last time. And drag the heels downwards. Good. Then from there, you can feel your thighs getting nice and stable. That's where you stop. Step down 1/3 of the mat. You can have feet as close as you feel comfortable. My primary concern is always for those of us who feel pinching in the low back or in the SI joint area that you don't want to push it. But if that is not a problem for you, you can squeeze your legs closer together simply for more support on the knees. Okay, so you come on tiptoes, just heels raised a little bit. Then from there, both arms to heart, hands to heart or arms overhead. Squeeze the thighs towards each other and start to bend your knees. Bend your knees, bend your knees. You can swing your arms forward so you can find the ground in front or find knees into a squat. Let the arms counterbalance or simply slide the hands to the ground. You want to drop the shoulders away, just let the arms be at any height that you can balance. Then from there, okay, now you drop onto your sit as your heels come down, and then drop onto your sit and your arms lay beside your knees. Take it a little while. Can you pull your belly towards the thighs and slightly roll back? Pull the belly towards the thighs, like you're closing the gap between your belly and the thighs. Slightly roll back. Pull the belly towards the thighs and slightly round it backwards. One more time. Pull the belly to the thighs and just open your knees out a little bit and take your arms slightly between your knees. And from there, you can press the hands together, interlace, and just stay in this close back position. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Just release it a little bit. Cross at the ankles, bring your palms to ground, come back to hands and knees. Then you squeeze your legs straighten into plank pose. Take a little while, now open your feet into a wide plank. You start to bend your knees and press your thighs and hips back into a wide-legged dog pose. Feet pointing forward, okay, as wide as you need to, and you can step in a little bit if your heels are floating off the ground a lot. The more we anchor down into the heels, the more supported we will feel for the next coming pose. So you can stay here and just gently turn your chest to face towards the right side and the left side alternately. Those who like to add on, okay, you're shifting weight onto your left hand and both feet come onto your right fingers. Then you turn your chest to the left side, just facing to the left, and you take your right hand to the outer left knee. And just turn the chest and stay here for 3, for 2, let the thighs press back, For 1, slide the right hand down to the ground. Take a break in downward facing dog for a bit. Right palm push, left hand pop onto fingers. Turn your chest over to the right side. Stay like this. Or left hand really lift the ground and find the right arm to tie. Twisting in downward facing dog. Slowly from there, turn the gaze forward, hands to ground. You want to gently turn the heels in and the toes out. Walk the hands to the direction of the feet. And slowly come to a squat at the end of the mat. So you can adjust your feet width as you need to. So the squat is comfortable. Those who need to, place a block below your sit. Like you want to sit onto a block. Let me show you here. So if you want to, you can sit onto a block. Otherwise, you can not use it. Okay, your choice. Then slide your hands to your heart center. Garland pose, Malasana. So you want to feel like the weight is even on both feet. You want to add on right armpit to the knee. I like to take my right hand just in line with the belly button. And left hand, either use the hand or use the elbow or the forearm to press the left knee open slightly. Turn your chest, your gaze towards the left side. Just stay there. You can also shift your weight more into your left side. So it's actually working on the dorsiflexion, okay, of the foot, of the ankle. Come back to center. Left armpit to the inner knee. Left palm on the ground. Right arm, either use the palm or use the forearm to actually open. My weight is coming a lot onto my left, so I'm just going to give some weight to the right. And just have to breathe. Slowly from there, return your gaze and hands to the center. Let your butt come up. Use blocks if you need to. Pop onto your fingers and parallel the feet into a much wider stance. It feels a little bit of shoulder width apart. Then hands on ankles, you go for a flat back. And exhale, you can soften your knees and forward fold. Okay, parallel the outer edges of the feet. Take your knees to bend, left hand find the outer right ankle and right hand to the hip. So your knees bend, okay, you extend the chest out forward, turn the chest to the right side. Feel free to add the right arm overhead. Turn the chest as you stable your weight into your feet. Then take this top hand onto the hip and then all the way across to the left front ankle. You bend the elbow and fold your crown the head into the cradle of your forearms. The legs can stay bent or straighten out more. Take the right hand to stay on the left ankle. Then left hand find the hip. Extend the spine, lengthen out forward. Turn the chest left side and left arm to the sky. Breathe. Then left hand can come to the hip or all the way as you look down. Left hand cross the right forearm. Hook onto opposite elbow. Then pull the elbow out towards the wrist and fold in. Shift your weight more towards the forefoot. It means the front of the foot. And then maybe squeeze your legs a little bit straighter to where you can. Thighs go back. Imagine you pull your own calves forward. Bend the knee, soften the elbows, release your hands down. Stretch the chest out forward. Then from there, hands slide to the hips all the way, come up to standing. Open your feet wider. And then this time, the heels in, toes up. Come into a bend knee called the squat. Yeah, it's definitely bend knee. So you want to really check in, your knees are pointing. Your feet is comfortably spaced, okay? And your knees are pointing, tracking to the second toe of each foot. And then you just use your hands on your thighs to help yourself assist yourself into a comfortable wide-legged squat. Take a little while here. Take a moment to squeeze the legs straighter. Then we're coming down to stay in for a little bit. Bend the knees into a squat. Now lean the right elbow onto the top of the knee. And then from there, okay, Just staying here a little bit, wedging your knee to direct towards the second toe. Use your right hand, push off and come up as you straighten the legs. Then change side, bend the knees generously. Left elbow onto the left top knee. Breathe. You can look down in any direction that's helpful as you're loading into your left thigh with knee bend. Then slowly left hand push the knees, slowly come up to stand. Point the toes forward, hands to the hips, go for a halfway forward fold. Wedge against the pinky side of both feet. And slowly you fold forward, hinging at the hip. Hands to slide to the ankles as you require. Your hands come in front of the chest, just in line the shoulder tips. Now point your right toes out to the right side. So same thing, the knees are tracking towards the second toe. Now you bend the right knee as you take your body to the inner right thigh. Right hand find the inside of the right foot. Then from there, left arm, take it up. Turn the arm from internal, rotate the arm and take your hand around the waist. Then you look down. So it's a half bound. Let go of the top hand to the ground. As you turn your right toes forward, your left toes turn out. Walk your left hand to the inner left foot. Use your upper body to wedge against the inner knee and ankle. And then the right arm open up to the sky. Inner rotate right arm and then wrap around the back. And then stretch out the spine as you press into your right leg long. Undo the top arm, hand towards the ground. As your both feet align forward, you take your hands below the shoulders. Now go for a nice big turn. You turn the right toes out all the way to the front of the mat. Both hands come forward to frame the front foot. If you're facing the other way, just feel free. Okay, let's drop the back knee down and slide your right knee back onto all fours. Let's get a common ground here. Okay, take a little while, undulate the spine, inhale in cow. Exhale in cat. One more time to cow. And cat. Toes point back, sit back, extend the child's pose. You lift your elbows off the ground, take your right hand, slide it between the left hand and left knee, and you can drop the right temple close or floating off the ground as you turn your chest towards the left. Okay, straddling the needle, facing leftwards. Turn your gaze back forward, right arm pulls itself up, left arm thread through, turn your gaze to the right side. Buttocks heavy. Both arms stretch out forward, come into all fours and take your hands a little bit wider than shoulder width, your right foot set between the hands. Now your back toes tuck under, lift the back thigh straight. So your front knee is square, your back foot lay flat as though you're going to warrior two. So angle the back foot slightly forward and wedge against the pinky side. And then you stretch the spine out long. You walk both hands to the left side with your right hand on a block. We need to put it on a block. Then same thing, like just now, you wedge your upper body against the inner right knee, and then you take your left arm out to the side and gently turn the chest to the left side. Stay here, stretch out the spine. Top arm, inner rotate, and wrap the hands around the back. And find your inner right thigh, and then you turn the chest and stretch out the body long as you revolve the chest into a bound side angle with block support or no block support. Okay, turn your chest slightly down, undo the left hand, place it on the ground. And then just from here, you lift up the back heel, take the block to one side, push down both palms, come to plank pose, drop the knees to the ground. Second side, left foot Step between the hands. Your hands can open wider so there's more space for your feet. Tuck the back toes into a high lunge. Back foot wedged down so you really can check how comfortable it is. Is your left butt swaying to the left side? If it is, I would recommend the left foot out to the left more. Both hands walk to the right side. Upper body wedged against the inner thigh, with or without block. So if you feel like you can't turn the chest, I would totally suggest a block. Right hand to hip, turn the chest a little bit more right. Right arm to the sky, inner rotate as you turn your palm to face back, and then slowly wrap the hands around the back to find your inner left thigh pocket. Squeeze the back leg straight and turn and roll the shoulders back, stretch the chest, crown the head towards the front of the mat. And from there, as you gaze down, you unlock the top hand, bring the palms, raise the back heel, either drop back to cat pose or go to plank pose. Then drop the knees far away into the supported side plank. Lean your body weight all the way down to the ground. Take a little while, breathe. Slide your hands into Sphinx pose, elbows below the shoulders. Press down into elbow tips and let the chest gently rise. So squats, totally thigh strength, quadricep strength. We're going to release that with a little bit of supine positions, or rather side lying position. So comfortable on the mat. So I'm gonna side lie over to the right side. As I bring my knees, maybe around hip level, then trying to get the head and the hips to be in the same line. So my right arm just comfortable below my head, or just outstretched forward. Left hand in front of the chest. Then I just take a moment to turn the left hip, the top hip downwards a little bit more. Then the left hand is just supporting. Then the top knee, that's the left knee, I slide it backwards and see if you can put it behind the right knee. If it feels too intense, you can always put a block underneath the left thigh. And just let it stretch out a little bit on the left outer hip area. The right leg is just comfortable. So I feel my hip is dropping a little bit, so I take a block to put below my right side head. And just feeling a little stretch on the left. Okay, the outer hip area, IT band area. I can choose, this is IT band stretch, I can choose to add on by bringing my left hand to catch onto the left ankle and pull the heel into the butt. Okay, now I can try to see if I can point the knee downwards to the end of the mat into a quadricep stretch. Okay, you want to let the left front hip slightly peel open. And after a few moments, just chill out here for a little bit. Give the body some time to really loosen up this really big, massive muscle group. And then slowly let your knees come back to match. And you're just going to the second side. So roll on over. With a block is nice, or team padding. Your right hand can come in front of your ribs. The bodies are pretty much aligned with my right hip drop down, so I can slide my right knee behind the left knee. Stay here, just letting it be a kind of like a ease out stretch. Okay, nothing much that you're doing for now. To add on, you can bend and then take your hand or take your strap, loop around the right foot. Then from there, feel like you slightly pull the knee backwards so that it's pointing down towards the end of the mat. Try to feel like a neutral spine. You can look down. You can also angle out the stretch a little bit by pointing your knee up a little bit. Okay, otherwise you keep it down. Your heel can be to the butt or slightly push into your hand. Take a little while until your breath becomes comfortable. It also at the same time helps to stretch the chest. And then from there, put the heel in, slide the knees to match, and go ahead and lie down on your back and sit. So we just now onto our back. Okay. Then from there, you step the feet about shoulder width apart, your hands beside your thighs. Just gently, you feel like you're dragging your ribs away from the pelvis, so your back feels neutral. Your hip bones, okay, just pointing up to the ceiling. Your hands beside your thighs. Okay, take a moment, okay, you might not be able to see it, but just turn, okay, your feet is really comfortable, you know it, okay, and you check in with your eye gaze, your knees comfortable with. You turn the heel out and stand onto them. The toes just spread, and then you're going to come up into bridge pose. So you can do a tuck up lift, or you can just do neutral spine lift. Let's go for neutral spine. So finding a neutrality in the spine, press the feet, and then slowly inhale, come up to bridge pose. Exhale, lower down. We do a few times. Inhale, bridge pose. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, bridge pose. Exhale, downwards. One last time. Inhale, bridge pose. Feel the stretch across the front of the thigh. And slowly down. Left leg stay, right leg stretch out long. Just feel, drive the right heel forward and let the right leg be straight. Okay. We feel any tensing across the low back. Just encourage yourself to release it. You can use your hand to slightly massage. With your right leg long, okay, imagine there's a weight plate on the right thigh, just pressing the thigh down and pressing the heel down. You can bring your fingers behind your left knee and just press, pull the thigh towards you. Alternative is to use a towel at the back of the left knee. Into this right hip flexor stretch. So coming in chair pose uses a lot of hip flexors, bending in the hip. Okay, then let go and step the foot, both feet to the ground. Then from there, you lay the left leg long, heel forward, toes upwards. Okay, then drive the thigh down, drive the heel down. Then bending in the right knee, use your fingers or use a towel. If your arms don't feel that long enough, well, you know it's never an issue with the arm length, but just finding things to help you. Then just let the weight of the thigh come towards the lower belly. Then slowly from there, let the hand droop down. Then press the right foot and press the left foot. I like to open my feet wider and let my knees knock into a constructive rest pose. The psoas release, nervous system release. Arms inverted V shape down. You can feel free to roll on the back of your head for a few times. Just to soften the neck area. Back